Alright, what is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going with this stream, if you're new and tuning in for the first time, either live or once this uploads as a video, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below and smash that bell icon right beside it. That way you will be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We usually go live every Sunday for the most part. I try to religiously every Sunday for you guys, usually around sometime between an hour before market open and 1 to 2 hours after market open. Futures market, of course, opens Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so usually sometime within that couple hour window. And of course, I let you guys know in our Discord group chat, which if you're not in there already, where have you been? Definitely hit the link down below. It's totally free to join. There's now 200 of us in there, so it's awesome to see that continue to grow. We'd love to have you in there as well. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new trader looking to maybe figure out what to avoid, because there are so many things to avoid. If this was easy, the statistics would be flipped around, right? I mean, over 90% of traders lose money. The reason being is that they pretty much think this is like Las Vegas, I guess. They think they're just going to come in, gamble, essentially maybe even make a few $100,000, and it's not that simple. I mean, I've been doing this now for close to 3 years, either like 2.5 or 3.5. I've lost track, almost somewhere around 3 years now. And even I mean, it took me close to a 1.5 to 2 years to really, and multiple times actually, of stepping away, just learning more and doing more, not just technical analysis, but just more learning. Essentially, it's like a craft. You have to master it at the end of the day. You can't go in naive thinking it's going to be easy. But that's what we're here for at the end of the day. I show you guys everything that I do. I don't hold anything back. We're going to go through some of my positions here in a minute, just go over like the entire week so far, kind of what I see going on for the rest of the week. Obviously, we only have one more day of trading this week, and then we'll talk a little. We probably won't look into next week too much. We'll save that for Sunday, but we'll just kind of look at what's going on right now, why we had this, not quite, I wouldn't call it a huge sell-off, but we did have quite a bit of selling this afternoon, and that's what we're all about to dive into. So if you want to tune into those future streams, definitely, like I said, smash that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here, and if you enjoy the stream, smash the thumbs up. Of course, it helps the channel out tremendously. So, 1 hour chart, you can see our SMA line has been acting as a pretty solid support ever since we hopped above it. Once we finally solidified 3,000, is kind of a line in the sand support, what seems way back now, almost a month ago. And then it's almost been, I wouldn't say straight up, obviously we've had some pretty big down days, as you can see, but pretty much up with very little hesitance. And you can see once again we bounced right around the SMA line on the 1 hour chart. Now, do I think that the bulls are just automatically going to just take control and on back up to close to 3,300 we go? Not necessarily. We're going to have quite a bit of resistance right around, actually right where we at right now, right around this 3230 to 3240 level is probably going to give us quite a bit of resistance for many reasons. But just to put it in short, you can see acted as a pretty solid support earlier on in the week. Obviously, we launched up to close to 3,300, which I'm actually surprised we did not touch it, because from a technical standpoint, there wasn't really a whole lot holding us back from 3,300, but we did have the not jobless claims, but unemployment numbers, and they were not as good as expected. Unemployment claims actually went up a little bit. I think it was like up 100,000 or something like that. So not good news, of course. And then the market kind of stumbled out of the gate, and then you could tell there's some pretty good weakness. And then once we broke that 3250 level, it was pretty much a waterfall from there to end the day. We did benefit from that. We were actually holding some shorts pretty much all week. We were actually in the red for quite a bit this week. We started out neutral. We had not a call, thinking options. We had a long and a short. So for those of you that don't understand really futures and whatnot, with the futures market, you have the current contract, which right now is the September 2020 contract, and then you can also go out usually upwards of about a year depending on the broker, but we mostly play the current contract and then the next closest contract, which is usually roughly 3 to 6 months out. So that would be, of course, the December contract. So what I tend to do personally, and I mean, you can do your own little system, whatever. What I tend to do is my positions that I'm willing to hold long term, which are usually the longs, of course. I go out one contract. That way I can use the current contract, the September contract that's trading right now, as a potential hedge. We usually do hedge fairly often. We usually start out pretty neutral, and then we just kind of take what the market gives us essentially from there. So on Sunday we started out neutral, Sunday night, Monday morning. And then we started getting pretty short because, as you can see, the RSI on the 1 hour chart was just kind of getting ridiculous. And obviously that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pull back, but we did pull back. The only problem is we started loading up on shorts a little bit too early. So we had our one short, and then we didn't actually buy another short for a while. We closed our long way too early on Monday morning. So even though, like, okay, we locked in, I think it was like 25 points on the long side, we were also down roughly 25 points right out of the gate from our short side. So we were just kind of waiting it out. We sold our long, like I said, incredibly too early, right as the RSI was starting to barely show overbought on the breakout there on Monday. And then from there, we were just kind of sitting it out, just holding that one short, and then finally at the end of the day, I was like, okay, I'm going to average up on my short, and I can actually show you guys. Here, we'll go to the monitor, go to the account statement, and you can literally just go through and take a look at all the trades if you want. If you want, you can go ahead and pause it. So this is where we actually, right in here, when did this trading week start? Was it the 19th or was it the 19th and 20th? So yeah, if you guys want, you can feel free, go ahead and pause it, whatever, take a screenshot. You can go through all the trades so far if you want, just to kind of get a good idea. If you want, like, take a screenshot and then go back, look at the chart, see where I got in, see if you can kind of see what was going through my mind and all that. I definitely would suggest that, just that way, because that's the thing, is, like I say, you want to learn from other people's mistakes. I didn't really make a whole lot of mistakes necessarily so far this week. The biggest mistake was that I sold that long, our hedge, incredibly too early, and we were kind of playing catch up for the rest of the week because we were averaging up. We only averaged up on shorts twice. We were holding a total of 3 short contracts going into today. I was super tempted when I woke up and saw that this had touched as high as almost 32.85 when we were down to like 32.65 when I first looked at the markets. I was super on edge about maybe even adding a 4th short, but you guys know I tend to really not even like to play short a lot of times. So I was like, you know what, my average price at the time was like 32.35, something like that. I was like, I'm not going to play it anymore. I'm just going to let it, however it plays out. I do think it's going to drop to around 3,200 at some point, but I don't want to have too much short. So instead, what I did was I actually bought a long because I had no longs at that point. We were just holding the 3 shorts coming into today. So instead, we bought a long, which hindsight's 2020. What I would have done differently there is trusted my instincts and went ahead and bought a short. That would have brought our average up to a whopping, what was it? I did the math. It was going to be like 32.42 or something like that, almost 10 whole points. So that would have been a huge difference if you gained 10 points average on 4 contracts. I mean, you're talking $200 profit difference right there. So that also was a little mistake there, but obviously you can't get them all at the end of the day, right? You don't want to kick yourself for what you left on the table, and plus it was probably smart to kind of hedge ourselves a little bit at that point because we really could have broke out and tested 3,300. So not too disappointed overall. Our average is still very low for our longs right now in December. We'll go over that here in a minute, but so obviously the market dumped off to end the day. What I do like here is that, like I said, we are holding this SMA line pretty well. I will not be surprised, in all honesty, if at some point overnight we try to test it, or maybe even sometime tomorrow. We might not overnight. In all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe try to shoot it up to like the daily pivot range, which is somewhere around 32.54, I believe, right now. So They may not. That's 20 points from where we're at right now, so that'd be a pretty decent move to the upside. So who knows? They may go ahead overnight tonight and pull it back down to around this 32.10, 32.20 range. That's probably more likely than them pulling it all the way up to the daily pivot overnight. Which, if you guys don't know like what I mean about the pivot, it's just a technical thing more than anything. I look at investing.com. If you guys go to investing.com, they do have an app as well. I'm not sponsored by them in any way or anything, but if you go on there, a lot of times they have pretty close to up-to-date information when it comes to like technical levels. The only ones I tend to use are the daily and weekly ones because those seem to be pretty close. They don't move a whole heck of a lot on a hour by hour basis, but other than that, that's the only thing I really use them for. But yeah, just looking at everything, I would not be surprised because we were pretty close to oversold on the RSI on the 1 hour, but we did not quite hit it. So we definitely by all means have plenty of room now to move up and try to go up to 3,300 if we want to next week. I think there's a good chance of that in all honesty, but I will not be surprised in all honesty if either tonight or sometime during tomorrow, depending on how the news is shaping up. I think we have, what data is coming out tomorrow? I think we have the PMI data tomorrow, and then also something to do with home builders. I think it might be either housing permits or home sales, something to do with home builders, I remember. So we got just a couple things in terms of economic data that could shake us up a little bit in the morning, either to the upside or downside. So I think it'll kind of just depend how the news is kind of spinning everything tomorrow. But we are up a little bit. We're up about 0.25% right now, so I like it. I have my alert set. This is what I strictly do now a lot of times when the market's trading kind of sideways like it's been for the last week or so now, is I just kind of set alerts at where levels that intrigue me, either to the short side, long side, or potentially close a position, and I just kind of set it and let it go from there. So from if you're wondering why I have it set at 32.05, that would be a new recent low on the week. I believe, not quite, but almost on the week ever since earlier on this week. And obviously it'd be a new low since today's sell-off. So if we hit 32.05, what I'd probably do is look at a potential maybe adding a December long contract. The reason being is this 3,200 level has acted as a pretty solid support ever since we gapped up over it last week, and it's been holding up pretty well now as a solid support. So it's not that I would necessarily throw a long on just right out of the gate by any means. I don't want you guys to think that at all. Like, don't set buy orders anything at 3,200, 32.05. The point is this is when I want it to kind of get my attention. If I'm not looking at the market, send me an alert on my phone. I'll take a look. And if we go down there and we start to build some support at that point, then I'd probably go ahead and get in probably between 32.05 and 32.10, just add another long. And 32.40, the reason I've set that, which we might hit during the stream, who knows, but the reason I set that was more of like a evening potential trade. And what I mean by that is we would be up roughly, what would we be up? I don't know what we'd be up actually. I think we'd be up, it's either 4 points or 14 points. I get thrown off a lot because the contracts, the December contract is usually about 10 points less. So yeah, we'd be about 4 to 5 points to the upside on our 3 contracts. So I was just setting that as a potential kind of like, hey, take a look. You might want to either close your position or at least hedge it for an overnight trade. And if I decide to hedge this, I'll probably hedge it somewhere around that 32.40 level, preferably closer to 32.50. Like I said, around that daily pivot if they decide to push it that high. But if it gets above 32.40, I'll definitely consider throwing a hedge on overnight because, like I said, my gut's kind of telling me that we'll probably revisit this SMA line probably. So say I got in at 32.40 hypothetically, and say we come down, what I would do is I would set a close order below my expectations, which I'd probably set it at like 32.10. So that would end up being a 30-point profit on a hedge, which would be $150. And then at that point, assuming we come down that low, I might even look at adding another long. Again, if we had some support, if we show signs of support building. So then we could have the potential on locking in $150. Obviously, our main position would be down, but we'd lock in $150 on the hedge. We'd add some more, average down a little bit more on our position, have 4 contracts long at that point, and then it'd probably, assuming that everything plays as we'd hope, it would go on up. And that's pretty much what we tend to do. That's how our trades usually play out. This has been the most profiting way of trading for me ever in my 2 or 3, however many years now, 2 to 3 years of trading. It's been the most consistent for sure. Like I said, we already went over the trades. I gotta open it up for you guys. We can see here we are up now $2,561.88 year to date, and I believe that is before fees, commissions, and all that, which are somewhere around like $500 or something right now. But before we were doing kind of what we've been doing now for a little bit, we were all over the place. I mean, we do options, which we still do a lot of vertical spread options on SPY a lot of times, but we do options. We'd be buying stock. We still buy stock from time to time, don't get me wrong. We still do these things, but I mean, we were just scatterbrained all over the place. We were buying leveraged ETFs. We were buying Boeing. We were buying Starbucks. We were just buying straight up calls and puts, which I highly, highly, highly will not suggest those to you newer traders. They're good for lottery tickets. They're good for potential quick hitters. But outside of that, I would not suggest just straight up calls and puts, just because there's a lot of risk in those. I mean, some people try to tell you that, options are the best way. Options are a good tool if used wisely. Option buyers tend to be losers, and option sellers tend to be the winners, because you're collecting that premium. You're saying as long as the price stays below X or above X, I'm making money, as long as it's moving in my favor, of course. Where with straight up just buying calls or buying puts, you're pretty much saying I need it to move in my direction. Not only do I need it to move in my direction, I need it to do so fast. That way I can lock in a profit. So I don't like it. There's too much that goes into that, but I got a ton of videos from my own experiences on those. So let me check out our chat. Of course, if you guys have any questions, if you have any, even if you have any stocks, like I said, we don't really trade stocks a whole lot anymore, but I can still perform some quick little technical analysis for you guys. There's a lot of stocks on sale right now, Apple being one of them. A lot of tech really got hit hard today. Apple got hit hard because of some negative news. I forget what it was. I think my state of Texas actually is filing some lawsuit against Apple. But anytime one of these stocks are in the news, if they're selling off because of news, it's a great buying opportunity. I almost bought a couple shares just for shits and giggles more than anything. Microsoft also sold off for good reason, actually. Their numbers, I mean, they did beat their earning estimates and whatnot, but their guidance and their earnings, it really wasn't as good as it seemed. So it made sense that they took a breather overall. Another stock that's been trading kind of sideways lately, and if you take a look, this tends to be right around support level. So, I mean, this actually might be a good time to look at maybe buying a little bit of Microsoft. I'm not personally, I'd be buying Apple over Microsoft personally right now, but if you're more of a longer term trader or investor, that's one you can take a look at. And then, of course, like we were talking about the leverage ETFs, TQQQ had a pretty big down day overall on the day, finished up right around 109 to 110 bucks. Also, right around a solid support level. So it'll be interesting to see whether tech is going to bounce back. I believe it will. I almost wanted to actually buy some NASDAQ futures, but I've never played the NASDAQ futures before, so I figured I'd paper trade them for a little bit and see the differences and whatnot versus MES, the S&P 500, of course. But I really, really like how tech is shaping up here. If you bought in, say you get in tomorrow around 110, assuming the market goes up a little bit overnight, you get in this at 110, I mean, you're talking easily 110 to 130 probably as your target. So you're talking, I don't know what that'd be, roughly 10%, 10 to 20% profit potential over the next, I don't know, probably week or so. So good profit target over there. And then, of course, the main beast of the hour that we've been talking about the most, MES. I'm telling you, I really, really like the action going into the last few minutes of the day, especially after hours so far. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised, don't get me wrong, I would not be surprised at all if they pull this thing down to at least 32.20 overnight. That'd be roughly, what, down 8 points overall from the close. I mean, that's not unreasonable at all. So, honestly, I will probably set another alert, actually. We'll set an alert at 32.1975, just below there. Because like I said, I want to be notified of these things whenever we hit these levels that I think we should either bounce at or potentially fall lower. Because, I mean, honestly, if this does break 32.20, then yes, it's probably going to fall another 10 to 20 points down to 3,200 roughly. But if it can, assuming it even goes down, it might not. I mean, this market does crazy things, obviously, but if it does, assuming that it goes down there, my thought is it does. It bounces up, and then we continue to go up from there. You probably have somewhat of a double bottom, a W formation, whatever you like to call it. But yeah, like I said, I'm just personally just sitting with my 3 longs right now. Probably only up like 2 points currently, nothing crazy. So $10 times 3 contracts, we're up probably $30 right now. If I close them all, we'd only gain $20 profit, so it's not worth really locking in right now or anything. That's why, like I said, if we bust through 32.40, and that's why I haven't purchased any shorts yet, actually, is because I'm waiting for 32.40 at the minimum. But if we kind of get rejected right around this area, I'll probably say right now, for example, I know some markets open up here in the next 10 minutes, but say those markets open up and we just drop from here. We don't hit 32.40, but we drop to like 32.32. Then at that point, when we got our next little up push, depending on where it gets rejected, I will then purchase a September short and go ahead and hedge my December positions. And then I will probably, before I go to bed tonight, assuming we don't fall down there before I fall asleep, I will set a limit close order, probably, let me see, depending on where I get in, probably that 32.20 level, maybe just below there, 32.10. I usually like to give myself like a 10-point cushion on where I close the position. That way, if the market tends to go a little bit further south than what I'm expecting, I'm at least locking in an additional 5 or 10 points. But yeah, I mean that's all it takes at the end of the day. It's a lot of bouncing ideas around back and forth, and that's why we have our group chat, the Discord group chat. Like I said, if you guys aren't in there, definitely hit the link down below. It's totally free to join. We don't charge for anything associated with this channel. But that's why we have the group chat. I'm constantly, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm probably at least 75% of the chat in there, because I'm literally just, whatever ideas I'm having about any type of trade, I'm throwing it in the Discord group chat. Not only for you guys, but also for something almost like a notepad to kind of just have my ideas for. And I definitely suggest you guys use it as a notepad, essentially. A notepad with other traders in there who can kind of tell you, well, maybe look at it from this aspect, because maybe what you're seeing someone else isn't seeing, and they see a totally opposite point of view, and then they can not necessarily persuade you that they're right and you're wrong, but just they might open your eyes up to something you didn't see, and you might be like, wow, no, you're definitely right, I didn't see that. And then you both end up profiting, because hey, you get two great minds working together, and a lot of good things can happen for both of you. So yeah, if you're not in there, definitely hop in there. We'd love to have you. And I've not checked our stream quality yet this evening. Looks like we're doing all right. We got a couple of you in here. Let me get a quick drink. So market's still hovering around 32, 38, 37 right now. Pull up the shorter term charts. Hard to tell what it's doing here. Almost trying to form a little flag or pennant. We'll see if it can bounce around this level. I guess I really want to see this take 32.40 over at the minimum. Looks like it might be trying to break down a little bit here. We'll see if it touches that 36.35 level or 32.35 level. Let's see, more 15 minutes. So 15-minute chart. Not gonna say it's getting exhausted in the short term, but it's had a nice little run. Like I said, I mean we've had a pretty solid run off of the lows. I think the low was like 32.14, so we're 23 points off the lows already. So we've had a nice little run off the lows. That's why, like I said, I wouldn't even be surprised if we test the low, in all honesty. Not that that's what I'm wanting by any means, but if we do, whatever. I might, if we bounce off the low, just add another long, go from there. But like I said, if we get rejected here, which is looking likely, I'll see how far we pull back, and then on the next run up, depending on where we get rejected, I'll probably go ahead and add a short to run overnight, maybe collect a quick little 10 to 20 points of profit. And then we'll just kind of see how the day goes tomorrow. Honestly, I am expecting a green day tomorrow. I'm not expecting anything big. I'm expecting maybe a fill to the daily pivot of 32.54, I think I said it was earlier. So you're talking about roughly 15 to 20 points higher from where we're at right now. I don't think that's unreasonable by the end of the day tomorrow. But like I said, at the same time, if the bulls can't take full control overnight and the bears drag it down to the lows of today and break that, they could definitely try to pull it down to 3,200 or maybe even the 31. I think my worst max pain was like 3190, I think. Or let me go out a little bit further. $32.17. Yeah, right around 31.90, 31.95. So that's why I'm slightly more long. I like how high the bulls can take it versus the lowest that I think the bears can take it, which is 31.95. So I mean, yeah, you are talking, if you want to enter a short right now, you are talking a potential, and we're talking max in my opinion, potential of about 40 points of profit tomorrow. But again, that's like worst case scenario, and I don't really like to bet on worst case scenario, especially after a solid pullback of a day. Now, if you had entered earlier this week in the 32.50, 60, 70s, 80s, whenever, then I wouldn't mind if you wanted to hold some shorts, but I would not be trying to enter any type of big short position tonight. Like I said, for me personally, the short is just, if I even enter a short tonight, it's just going to be to hedge my account and maybe to try and collect a quick little 10 to 20 point scalp overnight, making a little bit of money while I'm sleeping, essentially, and seeing what happens from there. But check the questions real quick, see if we got anything. Don't have anything from you all this evening, so we'll just go ahead and wrap the stream up there. Like I said, so far this week, we're not really too profitable. The laptop looks different than my phone. Let me get it pulled up here. So far we are up, actually a little bit more now with this recent up move since the stream started, but we're up just over $200 so far of net profit on the week. $216.78. And our position is pretty much flat right now. We're down $1.25 on 3 December long positions, and like I said, we may look at a potential quick little September contract short play. I'll keep you guys updated in our Discord group chat. So like I said, if you're not in there, definitely hop over there. We'd love to have you there. And if you like the stream, like I said, definitely hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel out tremendously. And like I said, lastly, if you're new to the channel, tuning in for the first time, hit the subscribe button below, hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, make your profits, cover your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next stream, probably this upcoming Sunday. Take it easy, guys.